think I kind of like to talk about being an advocate for the work. Earlier, I was thinking about how I regret not being able to be all that I can be to help an old friend um, see the possibilities within him. Without getting dragged into the drama of losing a friend to suicide. What I realized is that all I can do, instead of regretting it, is just to be that person. To be the kind of person who is very well established in myself, happy, satisfied, self contained. Being a light for others can mean you're willing to be selfless, but it could just mean you're willing to be okay. You're willing to be happy. You don't have to be a light for others either. You don't have to be special. You don't have to stand out. But, you can too. That's fine. The point is learning how to change your mind and how to change who you are. How to become very aware of yourself. And how to cultivate your own sense of identity that isn't dependent on other people. And when I say dependent on other people, I don't mean you don't have partnerships and relationships and vulnerabilities. But you're getting rid of those hooks and the herd like mentality of needing to worry about what other people are thinking of you. And this can be so, the word I was about to use was insidious, but it's also, it's just subtle, right? It's like, everyone's like, oh, I don't give a shit what people think of me, because they feel like that's how they should feel and think, and they end up putting up this mask of like bravado. And it's just an example. It's a tangent, but it's an example of what I'm talking about being self-contained. I'm thinking of someone who's kind of grown up needing to be tough, to appear tough, or intellectual. And a lot of that's informed by the kind of people we grow up around and the experiences we have growing up. It's like, I don't want to be like this person. I want to be like that person. I want to be like person B instead of person A. So even if we're not like person B, we're going to act like person B. And instead of being person B and having the courage and the willingness to give up who we were, we sort of centralize on person A who looks like person B. We end up getting controlled so much by fear of not being a certain way that being that way overcomes us. And we forget that's our core, that's our foundation. And so we can even believe that we are this person who we're pretending to be. And then we end up just feeling kind of empty. And so we try to make up for this emptiness, for this sense of lack. And may not even be able to understand why we feel it. It's just gonna be there, It's just gonna be there. And we'll start to paint ideas onto it and chase ways to fill it and find ways to satisfy and satiate the craving for something more temporarily through escapism and through, there's countless ways to do it, really. But you're never going to be feeling a sense of stable stable satisfaction if you're constantly needing to appear a certain way. And if you have a deep sense of insecurity, if you feel like, and whether you're aware of it or if you feel like you're easily triggered by things, and I don't mean like, actually I do mean like a child. You're easily triggered. Your guard is very easily put up. It means you're traumatized. It means you're insecure. It means you have something that you feel like you can lose if you're seen a certain way. If reality looks a certain way and feels a certain way, then you feel threatened. And one strategy I used unconsciously, even consciously I used it, kind of knowing what I was doing but not really in control of it, was using anger to mask the insecurity and the pain. Like many do, right? You know, what's your first response to criticism and confrontation? If it's not fear, it's probably anger. Because for most of us, it's not going to be a stoic sense of courageous indifference and openness and a willingness to see beyond ourselves, right? That's something you have to practice. And you can only do that by being willing to see just how driven you are by what you're afraid of. You know, how are you supposed to live a great life if your life's a lie? So that's why I meditate. That's why I'm into the self-empowerment stuff, the actualization stuff, manifestation, the Joe Dispenza stuff. Because I found that I can be more genuine. I can feel more real. I can be happier in the moment just because I feel like being happier. I don't have to wait for circumstances to look a certain way in order to feel safe. I can just call up a sense of safety. Where before I was just very reflexively ashamed of myself and hurting inside. I can now sort of fill up that gaping hole with love, with self-love, with light, with truth and understanding. I realized today that I want others to be able to value the things that I value as well. This need to be more whole, by just being more whole, by feeling more whole. Because the minute I decide that I have everything I need and I don't need anything else, that's the moment that everything that once controlled me, every single desire and lure and temptation, it just kind of melts away for a bit. It just disappears. I see right through it.